cross. I torment you. I torment you. Oh!
Oh, shit. I ain't ready for this.
Я беру меч Духа Святого.
Get up and face me.
Дух Святой, посмотри на меня.
What is your name?
Как тебя зовут?
What is your name?
Как твое имя?
What is your name?
Smith!
Death?
Nope. Still not ready. Hang on. I'll be back.
Go now, leaving everything in, taking everything in, leaving nothing in, no one behind. We pierce you. Go to the pit now.
Okay.
Now, to every part of Scott, just step out of the way mentally and just let whatever happens happen. Satan, I confront you by Christ. If there's an evil spirit there operating through the abuse or the seance, look at me. Look at me. I judge you by Christ. Who are you? Who are you? I strike you with judgment. I think we need some more oil.
Still not ready.
Убирайся в ад.
All the way out. We must get out. All the way out. We command you to leave.
Мы повелеваем тебе.
Now the girls have shown everyone how it's done, they invite the church elders to have a go. Back in the sanctuary of the church dining room, the girls were buzzing. It felt like an after-show party. Wasn't...
Alright, that's enough. As a tribute to the shape, I quit.
Cut. What are you doing? Seriously, what do you call that?
This book, which sells for $16, I want to make it available for just $10 tonight. Curse Breaking DVD, which is 10 hours of training about how to break curses. This is a 2-hour series called Victory Over Satan. 20 most dynamic exorcisms, all on one DVD. These are $50 each. First come, first serve. I'll let you have them 2 for 1. Everybody here tonight who could share a gift of at least $100, I want you to have one of these special crosses. You need this cross. I'll guarantee you Satan's got one of these hanging in hell. And he's warning every demon to run if he sees it.
As I watched the girls deal with the flurry of transactions, they reminded me of a magician's glamorous assistants.
Ah, there it is, the money shot. There you have it. There's your motivation right there. I bet they are making money hand over fist. In fact, I know they are. And there it is, folks. It's all about the money. I knew there'd be a merch table involved somewhere in this. This is something I... blah, 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 blah.
It was at this moment that he knew. He up.
This is something I've been wanting to do for a long, long time. This is a topic that really drives me nuts. It's another problem in the paranormal world, is that there are so many exorcists, demonologists, fake priests. I've seen ghost teams turn their team into a church on the internet. There's no actual church that you can go to, but it sure looks like it on the internet. But then when you ask them about it, oh no, we don't have that church yet. You're putting on your church website that you don't have yet that you are going to you offer youth prayer services Tuesday night at 7 o'clock. But yet when you click on that link, it goes to services not available yet. It's because they don't exist. They're not happening. They're probably never going to happen. I don't know.
We have to get on, we have to get on. We have so much time and so little to do. Strike that. Reverse it. This way, please.
We're, after looking at everything that I've compiled and gathered, and there's still more stuff that I want to get. And I really, really want to tell this in detail because I think it's a topic that needs to be discussed in detail and show proof and show details and things like that. I'm not going to be able to do this all in one video. So this is going to end up being a series of some sort. There's a lot of people that need to be exposed because a lot of these guys are stealing money from people, and it absolutely pisses me off. You've got guys also running around doing exorcisms when they're not trained to do exorcisms. They just call themselves an exorcist one day and voila. So in this video, we're going to focus on two things specific. One, I want to really, really expose Bob Larson for what he is, and that's a money-grabbing charlatan. He charges for absolutely everything he does. We'll go through his website. You'll see. This guy is just out there for money. Two, I think we should actually talk about what an exorcist is from the Catholic Church perspective. So we're going to show some videos from Catholic priests and actual exorcists about what it is to be an exorcist. So I hope you guys like this video. I hope you like the topic. Let me know in the comments below if this is a topic that you want to hear more about, or even if you have, I don't want to say dirt on anyone, but if somebody out there is scamming people using religion and paranormal and things like that, let me know who they are. Boo, stop. Come on, Boo. Take two once Boo stops. We're trying to do videos here, Boo. Hey, I said stop. We'll wait. Let's get into some more of these videos. Let's start with what the Catholic Church actually says an exorcist is.
How do you get into your line of work as an exorcist? Because that's not something like, I want to sign up for that. Like, what do you do?
Well, in fact, I even tell people I still don't want to be an exorcist. The only reason I'm an exorcist is because every time I try and get out of it, it seems like Our Lady pulls me back in.
So, cheer me up, babe. Just when I thought I was out, they pulled me back in.
Most exorcists, myself being one of them, is usually because of the fact that the bishop actually requests that you do it.
So there's an important point right there. It's one of the difference between a real exorcist and, some of these guys that are saying they're exorcists is this guy really doesn't want to be. He's not looking for fame, publicity. That's not his motive. He's truly been called to do this and appointed by the church to do it, so that's why he does it.
But they can actually get it there. So I wrote that book. It was during that time that I was actually talking to exorcists who were friends. For me, it was purely an academic interest because I was just interested in the intersection between psychology and diabolic influence.
Wow.
And then a case actually arose in the Archdiocese of Omaha, and then essentially speaking through a series of back and forth with the Chancery, they asked me to take the case. So then I got some more training and then just started doing it. So,
as you can see from this guy who is truly a Catholic priest, there is training involved to be an exorcist. Father Vincent Lambert, who we're going to watch next, talks about that more as well.
When were you ordained a priest?
June the 1st of 1991. So
Fantastic.
This is my 30th anniversary coming up.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah, it's hard to believe.
A diocesan priest?
I was ordained for the Archdiocese of Indianapolis.
Okay. And when did you have an interest to become an exorcist, or did somebody ask you? How did that work?
They always say that if you volunteer for the job, you shouldn't have it. So.
That's a good point. If you volunteer for the job, you probably shouldn't have it. There's a reason for that. The reason being is that I think a lot of these guys that, call themselves exorcists, demonologists, whatever, I think it's a power trip thing for them. I think they want to be viewed as, look at me, I'm a big badass exorcist and I can take on the devil. It's, if you're truly talking about demonic possession and dealing with things that are evil, you'll notice that it's not it's not coming from the exorcist or the person. It's power coming from God. They're just the ones that are doing the ritual. And they will all tell you that, you know, it's, in fact, Vincent Lambert, he was on a podcast that I heard one time where he said the only time he messed up and he screwed up is he kind of went into an exorcism thinking, okay, this is what I'm going to do. And it's not about what you're going to do. It's about what God is going to do. So he said he kind of got smacked around a little bit and learned that lesson that this is not me doing this. This is God.
Right.
The Archdiocese of Indianapolis has always had a stably appointed exorcist. Even when it fell out of practice in many dioceses in the United States, Indianapolis continued to have a priest designated for this ministry. Ironically, he was the pastor of the parish where I attended grade school.
Oh, interesting.
And then he passed away in 2005. And after he passed away, the Archbishop of Indianapolis was looking for a replacement. So most of us were kind of trying to stay under the radar. And
Yeah.
I happened to be at the Archbishop's residence one afternoon for a meeting. And I was planning to go on sabbatical in a few months after that. And the bishop looked at me and said, I'm appointing you to be the exorcist. He goes, I have no idea what I'm asking you to do, but when you're on sabbatical, you can study this. So
Wow.
let's move on to our meeting now. And I think I was just in shock. So when I arrived in Rome in 2006 for my sabbatical, I was living at the North American College and then talked to the rector there and said, hey, what do I do? Can you direct me?
Yeah.
And he directed me to Father Gary Thomas.
So he just mentioned Father Gary Thomas. If you're interested, I don't know if people know this or not, but the movie The Rite is very, very loosely based on Father Gary Thomas. He's the character in the movie that is the exorcist apprentice is who Father Gary Thomas is.
Yes.
The exorcist there in San Jose. And Father Gary's become a good friend and a good colleague in the ministry. And he introduced me to the Franciscan priest that he was working with. And that Franciscan priest was happy to allow me to come and kind of learn from him. The church says that the best way to become an exorcist is the apprenticeship model. And Father Carmine, at the time, had been an exorcist for 25 years. He was trained by Father Candido Amentini, who also trained Father Gabriel Amorth, who became the chief exorcist there in Rome. So I was in Rome for 3 months, and then Father Carmine allowed me to sit in on 40 exorcisms while I was there.
So again, you'll see with him, it's all about training and actual hands-on experience with somebody that's done this. You're not gonna, he didn't go online and get some exorcism certificate and become an exorcist, or go online and take a demonology course that takes 4 hours and all of a sudden you've got a certificate to be a demonologist. You know, this guy sat in, I believe he just said 40 exorcisms in training in Rome, and that's what it takes to actually learn how to do this. So I mean, I've literally talked to people that, you know, have taken online courses at most. Like, I don't even know that they've done that, but they just decided that God has called them to be an exorcist, and they're out performing exorcisms on people. A lot of them I've talked to, I shouldn't say a lot I've talked to, but I've talked to a few that do way more exorcisms that are even remotely possible for some local person to, you know, to do around their area. It's just not, I don't believe it. I don't think that they're not dealing with people that are actually possessed. They're dealing with people that have severe mental health problems or other problems, and they're not going through the necessary steps that it takes to actually determine if this person is possessed or not. I've seen paranormal teams go out with K2 meters and to determine that there's a demon in this lady's house or in this guy's house. I've witnessed it. I've watched it. So because your K2 meter goes off, you're going to tell this person that they have a demon in their house and that they need to call a priest. I mean, it's disgusting. And that's why this whole topic just pisses me off so much, because there's way too much of it. And it doesn't help with all these stupid ass YouTubers putting, I nearly died by demonic attacked by a demon, encounter with real demon. That's all they put in their thumbnails. It's, you guys are not encountering demons every freaking place you go. And you know, if for real, if any of them ever had an actual demonic encounter, they would probably stop doing this, because it's not for fun. It's not for views. It's like if they really, really got tagged, it's not going to be good. And I don't know, maybe not, because it's very rare, but you know, one of these days, one of these jackasses might actually get tagged and learn their lesson. I guarantee you won't see attacked by a demon on their thumbnails anymore. Although who knows, these guys are goofballs.
Exactly.
So why did the bishop assign you? Surely there's some sort of criteria he looks for in a priest.
Well, the rite itself says that the priest should be known for his holiness, his piety. That's why the bishop and I would laugh over the years. I'm like, come on.
Really?
Why me? Or I would
Sure,
say to
that's not
him,
true.
you know, a lot of the younger priests told me they would like to be the exorcist. And the bishop would say, I worry about anybody that would want the job.
Now, does every diocese have an exorcist?
Technically, yes, because the bishop is the exorcist.
Okay.
So the local bishop is the exorcist by virtue of his episcopal ordination. And then at his discretion, he can appoint any priest to do an exorcism, or he can appoint one or more of his priests on a stable basis. So when I was appointed back in 2005, I became one of about 12 stably appointed exorcists in the United States. Today, there are about 125. The exact number really isn't known because, again, some prefer to remain anonymous, but...
So that right there should show you that that's how rare demonic possession really is. If there's, I mean, 150, that's not many in a country of, what, 350 million?
If there is one thing that horror films have taught us over the years, it is that if you find yourself possessed by a demon, you need to call the Catholic Church for an exorcism. When Satan shows up, no one is calling the megachurch pastor with his cool t-shirt and tweed jacket. You call the priest. And while movie depictions are a bit on the dramatic side, they do convey some serious truths. There is evil in the world, possessions do take place today, and priests have the power to cast out demons.
Okay, so let's talk about that point he just made. I'm a Protestant, and I personally don't believe that you have to call the Catholic Church if you have any evil problems or demonic problems or anything like that. I believe Protestant people can perform deliverances and help you get rid of, you know, a demonic possession. The pastor of the church that I used to attend said he did it one time, and you know, he told me the story. He said it was absolutely crazy. A lot of the stuff in the movies is actually, you know, their body contortions and things like that actually do happen. So I am not of the opinion that you have to be a Catholic to deal with evil or deal with demons. However, I am of the opinion that you have to be a Catholic to call yourself an exorcist. I have enough respect for the Catholic Church to fall in line with that belief that, you know, the rite of exorcism is a Catholic rite. And this guy later on, he's going to talk about, go specifically, well, not specifically, but he's going to tell you exactly everything involved in their rite of exorcism.
What is an exorcism and how is it conducted in the church today? This is Catholicism in focus. Jesus had power over demons. He gave this power to his disciples, and their successors hundreds of years later continued to perform exorcisms. Great. So what exactly is an exorcism, and what does it consist of? First, we want to make clear that there is a difference between the sacraments of penance and anointing of the sick on one hand, and that of exorcism on the other. The former are sacraments, sacred signs instituted by Christ to make Christ's presence known to the faithful. They are ordinary practices meant to bring people closer to God and his church. An exorcism, on the other hand, is a sacramental, a prayer meant to prepare us for life in the church. In this case, the focus is on protecting us from evil. Second, we must make a distinction between the two types of exorcisms, major and minor. While the word exorcism conjures up images of possession and pea soup, this is not always the case. Minor exorcisms are found primarily in the preparation for baptism, both in the RCIA and the rite of baptism for children, but can also be used in ordinary situations simply to break the influence of evil and sin in a person's life. This is quite different from a major exorcism, which is the prayer highlighted in so many horror films over the years. Used with extreme prudence and only by specially trained priests, this prayer, presented in an imperative formula, is reserved for instances when genuine demonic possession has been established. Canon law stipulates that this form of exorcism may only be celebrated by the bishop of a diocese or a priest that has been given special and express permission from the bishop. Generally, these priests are trained over many years through an apprenticeship model and are very rare. Out of the 35,000 priests in the United States today, only about 150 are trained to perform this rite. The reason for this, thank God, is that it's an extremely rare practice. One exorcist claimed that for every 5,000 inquiries he gets, only one is a genuine case of possession.
So this major and minor rite of exorcism point is very, very important. We did a case once, or almost did a case, where the client was told that a priest had done an exorcism on her. So without giving specifics, I'm not going to say that. No, I don't want to say that. So the priest that did this, especially when I saw a lot of details in this case, and he's a famous TV priest, I really I thought he was a good guy, and I still think he's a good guy, but I was disappointed in how he handled this client. He did tell her that he performed an exorcism at her house. I saw the screenshots, so he absolutely did say that. But then when we talked to him, he had actually performed a minor rite of exorcism, which was basically a house blessing. And that's where the confusion comes into play with a lot of this stuff. So he comes in dressed as a Catholic priest, and like I said, his claim of that title is up for debate. I mean, I don't know. I'm not going to say he is or isn't, but he is definitely not part of the Roman Catholic Church. That is a fact. So he shows up with this priest outfit on, talking like a priest, acting like a priest, using Catholic terminology such as, I did an exorcism on your house. And a normal person, when they hear the term exorcism, what they think of is like the movie The Exorcist. They don't know that, they unless you're brought up Catholic and taught that, you probably don't know that there is a minor rite as well. You're just thinking, oh my God, there was a possession. Like he says in here, it's pea soup and blah, blah, blah. But, so at some point she thought a demon was cast out. And the case was he just did a house blessing. And it turned into a whole big ugly thing. And this lady has severe mental problems. However, the paranormal world is not helping her. A lot of ghost hunters have told her that demonic stuff is in her house because their cat balls lit or their K2 meters went off. Like, it's ridiculous. And then a lot of these people will say, well, sorry, you need to call a priest, and I don't know what to do for you. And then they leave these people they just go scare them and then leave them. So, excuse me, I digress. Let's get back into this.
For so many, it's a case of mental illness or poor catechesis.
Demonic possession is extremely rare. 1 out of every 5,000 people who contact me is a genuine case of demonic possession.
Which is why the process of performing a major exorcism can take as long as 6 months to a year. A thorough investigation must be made into the person's physical and mental health, ruling out all ordinary explanations. But it does happen. So what does this rite include? The rite is extremely long, potentially taking even longer than Mass, as it includes a series of readings and prayers, all meant to expel the presence of the devil. Wearing a surplice and a purple stole, the priest makes the sign of the cross over himself, then all present, and then repeats the process sprinkling holy water. From there, he kneels and begins the Litany of the Saints, calling on holy men and women to be present in the prayer against evil. The priest then prays the Our Father and reads Psalm 53 as a responsorial psalm, with the people responding, God, hear our prayer, hearken the words of my mouth. He continues with a prayer to God asking for help, and then begins the first exorcism. Like this, the priest then places his hands upon the possessed person asking for intercession, and then reads from various sections of the Gospels, as many as 4 readings in a row. Another prayer to the Father, more prayers for mercy, and then another exorcism. A prayer to the Father, and then a super long exorcism, complete with the sign of the cross 12 times over the possessed person. The prayer goes on even more. The Canticle of Mary is read. The Canticle of Zechariah is read. The Athanasian Creed is read. Additional psalms can be read. And finally, a closing prayer to God is read. Almighty God, we beg you to keep the evil spirit from further molesting this servant of yours, and to keep him far away, never to return.
That right there is the most important. It's a very, very long process. You don't get a call from a client that says, oh, I'm possessed, and you think to yourself, well, let's go meet him, let's go out, do an investigation, find some very, very weak sign that you think it's demonic and you're going to cast the devil out right then and there. It doesn't work that way. Yeah, there's a big difference between what paranormal people do in a lot of cases versus reality and what the actual Catholic Church does.
My point in making a video like this is to demystify what may appear in our imaginations due to horror movies and to make one point very clear. Evil has no more power over our world than we are willing to give it. We mustn't let our guard down, but we also mustn't think that it is creeping around every corner ready to snatch us up with no recourse to goodness. Christ is in control, and he has given his church the power to ward off evil, both in our ordinary lives of virtue and prayer and in extraordinary prayers of deliverance.
So that's a very good point there. I wanted to just throw 3 examples out there. There's many, many more on what an actual exorcism is through the Catholic Church. That's it. I think that's a pretty fair explanation. There's a lot more videos that you can go to and look up online, you know, official Catholic Church videos or shows that, you know, Catholic members do and they invite real priests on and things like that. So go watch that video. That was called Everything You Need to Know About Exorcisms. The channel is Breaking in the Habit. The second clip was Pints with Aquinas, I think is how you say that. Want to become an exorcist? Here's how, with Father Vincent Lambert. The first one was How to Be an Exorcist, the Chris Stanek Show, Augustine Institute, the Catholic Faith Explained. So there was a lot more to each and every one of those videos. I encourage you to go watch them. If I can figure it out, I will try to put the links in the description, because to me it's very important that people actually go and see that in whole. You don't want me to put 3 hours of video up here and have you sit through it. And so I will really, really try to learn how to put the links down in the description. And again, I'm kind of new to a lot of this YouTube stuff, so you know, I'm learning as I go. Hopefully I'll be able to figure that out. Okay, so now it's time that I have a confession to make. I lied. I said we were going to talk about 2 points. I was going to get into Bob Larson, and I truly intended to, but when I got into watching all this stuff, I realized if I do that, it's going to be too long, and I really, really want to spend some time on this guy because I did a lot of research. I got a lot of stuff from his website, from videos. So our next episode in this series, we're going to be talking about Bob Larson. And after that, we're going to talk about many more. So again, the whole reason we're talking about all this is because exorcists and demonologists are a big part of the paranormal community, and most of them are not legit. They may think they are because they got a certificate, but as you saw, it takes a lot of training to actually be an exorcist. So again, join us next time as we talk about Bob Larson. We're going to expose him. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.